Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Hello, I am Mode853 or Comedias, and welcome to the second part of Dear Esther. And let's continue our journey. Appears to be some shipwreck here. You see how everything looks like so old and like worn out, and then you watch up and you see that the tower there, and it doesn't really fit into the environment at all. Oh, can you see that on the left side there? I think it's a ghost. So basically I can't look right at it, because it will disappear then. Or it will disappear anyway, I don't know. It would be cool to, like, talk to it or something. I think it's gone. Yeah. Probably. Last time I played this...
All night the boy has kept me lucid. I sat when I was at the very edge of despair, when I thought I would never unlock the secret of the island. I sat at the edge and I watched the idiot boy blink through the night. He is mute and he is retarded, and he has no thought in his metal head but to blink each wave and each minute aside until the morning comes and renders him blind as well as deaf-mute. In many ways, we have much in common.
So yeah, what I was saying is that last time I played, I saw the ghost also, and I looked straight at it, and it disappeared. I think it says neither did he eat nor drink. The boy or the hermit or who? I really hope I'm alone at this island and not some scary monster come attacking me, or that would be really scary. Could go that way, but could explore over here first.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
This is an arrow as well, it points like over there. We came from there. So I guess that leads to the where the arrow is pointing.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Let's go down here and check if there's anything.
When I first looked into the shaft, I swear I felt the stones in my stomach shift in recognition.
I would not like to fall down there. There's a house up there. And another one over here.
I've begun to climb, away from the sea and towards the center. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
There's like some shots here and all these sounds are creeping me out. Just like a path down there. But I want to check out the house first.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either. When the oil lamps ran out, I didn't pick up a torch, but used the moonlight to read by. When I've pulled the last shreds of sense from it, I will throw Donnelly's book from the cliffs and perhaps myself with it. Maybe it will wash back up through the caves and erupt from the spring when the rain comes, making its return to the hermit's cave. Perhaps it will be back on the table when I wake. I think I may have thrown it into the sea several times before.
This fucking bird. Let's check out this house as well. make sure we don't miss anything. So that cannot be chemistry, or I think, or I don't know. The London Clinic. Is that a cave there? Yeah, looks like that.
He left his body to the medical school and was duly opened out for a crowd of students 21 days after his passing. The report is included in my edition of his book. The syphilis had torn through his guts like a drunk driver, scrambling his organs like eggs on a plate. But enough definition remained for a cursory examination, and, as I suspected, they found clear evidence of kidney stones. He's likely to have spent the last years of his life in considerable pain. Perhaps this is the root of his laudanum habit. Although its use makes him an unreliable witness, I find myself increasingly drawn into his orbit. They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. His fingernails were raw and bitten to the quick. They found the phosphorescent moss that grows in the caves deep under the nails. Whatever he'd been doing under the island when his strength began to fail is lost. He'd struggled halfway up the cliff again, perhaps in a delirium, perhaps trying to reach the Bothy's fire before curling into a stone and expiring.
This overlook of the place is quite beautiful right here. So let's move on. I saw something from up there. I think it's the same place. Here. These stones look like really weird. And there's a traffic warning thing, I think. So let's get over to that cave, because I'm interested in what's in it. This appears to be like some kind of shipwreck also. A lot of shipwrecks on this island. From what I have seen.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
So is he about to die of an infection in his finger? Because he tripped and broke it? Dead birds, like leaving a trail into this cave here. What's in here? Ooh, what's that? Looks like a suitcase. And clothes. What? Let's go back to the real cave. Is that a candle? If there's a candle here, someone else must be on this island. And candles burn down. So it must have been lit, like, now. Wow, this looks cool. Am I supposed to go down here? Oh!